Hello, YouTube. It's your boy GZTV. We're back with another video. I actually just got done editing my not the Harden video, the in-season tournament video. That'll be ready for you guys tomorrow, but I decided today that I'd give you guys the review for the 2002 British post-apocalyptic horror film directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland. It is 28 Days Later. We're gonna, go through the plot, go through the critical reception. I'm just gonna post this real quick before I go play basketball. Should be streaming tonight as well. So getting into the plot, this follows a highly contagious, aggression-inducing virus called the Rage virus, which is unleashed in Great Britain after an infected chimpanzee is freed from its cage in a laboratory in Cambridge by a group of eco-terrorists. Sorry, I'm kind of stuttering. I'm kind of anxious to get this video out. I just need to get my content going for the day. Fuck, I just smacked this shit out of the camera. We're no filter. We're keeping this shit in the video. So within seconds of exposure after freeing the enraged chimp, one of the terrorists succumbs to the virus and immediately infects another. So over the following hours and days, it spreads rapidly and becomes an epidemic, resulting in total societal collapse. And we've watched so many of these kind of movies, and this is a really good example of a post-apocalyptic movie. Like, this is a big deal for movies and for like apocalyptic that genre. But I don't know, man. I got really bored throughout this. And it's not because it's a bad movie. It's just because I've seen these tropes before. It's the same concepts over and over again. I don't know. So 28 days after the initial outbreak, which is why it's called 28 Days Later, because we're living like a month into this thing, bicycle courier Jim, who had an accident and fell into a coma prior to the outbreak, awakens in St. Thomas's Hospital in London, which has been completely deserted with visible signs of catastrophe. After wandering the streets of London and entering a church, Jim is chased by infected humans before being rescued by survivors Selena and Mark, who take Jim to their place of refuge in a street-side store. So they're kind of just holing up, kind of waiting this thing out, defending themselves as they go. Hopefully they can kill all these damn things, So at Jim's request, the group travels by foot to his parents' house in Deptford, where he learns that they died by suicide, leaving him a note. They just couldn't really deal with this epidemic. It's super unfortunate, obviously. Shortly thereafter, Mark gets a cut on his arm, which is exposed to infected blood during an attack, prompting Selena to immediately kill him before he can turn. And this is sort of like that trope. It's sort of that same thing you'd see with like The Walking Dead. Like, oh, you got infected, I have to kill you, so you don't have to live out your life as this miserable creature that has been infected by a virus, It's interesting. I mean, you watch movies like this, and then you go to like the post-apocalyptic films and series, and you realize, wow, like movies like the Dawn of the Dead remakes, and even like World War Z. Give me some more examples in the comments, like Zombieland, Walking Dead, Last of Us, all sorts of examples like that utilize this type of concept. So Jim and Selena encounter cab driver Frank and his daughter Hannah at Balfron Tower, from whom they learn of a military broadcast offering protection at a blockade in Manchester. At first, they think, oh, there's no hope, we're all going to fucking die here. But then they realize there's hope still, like someone's out there trying to save them. With supplies dwindling, Frank asks Jim and Selena to accompany him and Hannah to the blockade, which they accept. They have to go to certain areas that haven't really been looted yet. I know, using some damn Fortnite terms here. Yeah, so the group travels to Manchester in Frank's cab, but upon arriving, they find the blockade deserted. There's no one there to help them. A bunch of shit is just taken. Yeah, so as the group struggles to plot their next move, Frank is infected when a drop of blood falls into his eyes. One of the most effective scenes I've seen in a horror movie in a long time on this channel. I think this was super impactful. The soldiers arrive shortly afterwards and shoot Frank dead. And I mean, just that last moment with him and his daughter was just so touching. And I'm not going to lie, guys, when I first watched this movie, I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, another zombie apocalyptic film. But I think Danny Boyle really did a number on this movie. I think he did amazing. So the remaining survivors, anyway, after all that happens, they're brought to a fortified mansion under the command of Major Henry West. He's like a part of the army. However, the safety compromised by the soldiers turns out to be a ruse, when West reveals to Jim that the broadcast was intended to lure female survivors into sexual slavery to repopulate the world, as West is convinced the Rage virus has overrun the entire planet. And it kind of goes in different directions from other post-apocalyptic films. How many times I'm going to say that term, I don't know. it kind of goes away from that because there's this interesting twist, and it kind of sucks because all the mayhem you've seen in movies before, you kind of get bored of. So once it gets to this moment, you're kind of confused as to what's going on. But after, I've watched videos on this, people talking about it, I've realized this is actually a really good movie. It's great, actually. I need to rewatch this for sure. So Major West is Jim and Sergeant Farrell taken out to be shot, like executed, after they refused to go along with his plan. Sorry about the noises. Keep getting notifications. My apologies. So they're taken out to be executed. They disagree after disagreeing with him, but Jim escapes after Farrell creates a distraction. While hiding in a pile of bodies, Jim sees a jet contrail in the sky showing proof of outside survivors for the first time. There's actually people out there that are there for them. So after luring West away from the mansion, Jim releases Private Mailer, an infected soldier kept chained for observations, resulting in the death or infection of all of West's men. So he lets him out, he unleashes, kills everybody. And yeah, so Jim, Selena, and Hannah attempt to leave in Frank's cab, but West, who had sneaked into the back of the seat, shoots him. Pretty dope scene there as well. Hannah retaliates by putting the cab in reverse, allowing Mailer to pull West through the rear window and kill him, while the 3 survivors drive off. So pretty badass shit here. There's some decent action in this movie. Pretty well executed, really effective, great acting. And another 28 days later, Jim recovers at a remote cottage in Cumbria, where the infected are shown lying openly in the roads, emaciated and dying of starvation. As a Finnish fighter jet flies overhead, Jim, Selena, and Hannah unfurl a huge clothing banner spreading the word hello. The 3 survivors optimistically watch the jet as the pilot spots them, and they're able to get picked up and taken to salvation. So I guess, they're saved after all. It kind of implies this happy ending while not really showing it. It's a really interesting thing. And there's alternative endings and stuff like that, all that jazz to this film, but I don't really care to talk about it. We're just talking about what was on screen in front of us. If you want to get the DVD and you want to watch the alternative endings and want to let me know in the comments how you thought of those, let me know. But let's get into the review. So getting into the review, a lot of good things to say about this movie, although I didn't really think positively of the movie at first. I didn't think anything of this. But it's a really good movie. It is. Kinetically directed by Danny Boyle, 28 Days Later is both a terrifying zombie movie and a sharp political allegory. And if you keep the context in mind of this film it didn't take place, but it was produced after 9/11. So there was a lot of terrorism going on, a lot of people fearing for their lives, fearing of an apocalypse, shit like that. So, this was a primary motive. This happened production happened even before 9/11. So it was kind of like a perfect coincidence that, hey, this movie came out and it just left such an impact on people. Did really good in the box office. I think I don't even know. I think it was 1,000% of its 1,000% profit from its budget, I believe, or something like that. It's great. A lot of people like it. I kind of do too. I don't think I really got the best experience out of it because, I was kind of confused at first, but it's pretty solid. It's got some pretty scary moments in there. Making the zombies move fast for the first time was a bright and effective idea. No one had seen that prior to this in any zombie films. It's one of the best zombie movies of all time, though, if you really look at it. Yeah. It's a good-ass movie. I just don't know what to say. Zombie movie, political allegory, humanist drama. 28 Days Later is all those and more. A genuine work of art by a director at the top of his game. What's so amazing about the film is the way it so expertly balances scenes of white-knuckled, hell-for-leather horror with moments of intimate beauty. It's awesome. And it's definitely up there for some of the best British films I've ever seen. It's not like I've seen a lot of British films, but this thing does its job. I think it's awesome. And if you guys want me to really, really start editing these movie reviews, I suppose I could in the future. But the thing is I don't really have time with school and all this stuff. Take it as you can have it, I guess. We're getting ready to post this tournament video on Thanksgiving. I'm going to give you guys a Thanksgiving special. By the way, I haven't had a chance to say this, but I really appreciate you guys for 200 subscribers. You guys have been doing amazing with the support. Keep it up, man. It's great. Love to grow this community, discuss movies, basketball. But I'm out, guys. Good movie. I would recommend it. It was a bit of a shaky watch at first, but coming back, it's really had an impact. it takes a couple watches, I feel like, to really get this thing and to really appreciate the art of it and the beauty of this movie. But I'm out, guys. I don't have much to say. Hopefully, you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be on stream tonight, GZTV Live on Twitch, all lowercase on Twitch, probably around 9:30 ish. Probably stream for 3-4 hours. We'll see, man. I'm out.